start your show now.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, let's see if I'm live now on this always fateful eclipse moment that is fast approaching us in 45 minutes. And of course, we are using for the first time a streaming platform. Streaming live on X and, ironically, in my opinion, Facebook and YouTube. Okay. And I'm just waiting for the thumbs up for that particular, or those 3 new platforms that we've only just added to our live 144K global mass meditation broadcasts. And you are undoubtedly at the right time, in the right place, in the center of all the action. Throughout the multiverse, by the way. And let me just make sure all is good. Alrighty, fantastic. This is really good. So, October is the month where you could say the final and last battle lines are drawn. And of course, the 144K quickly dissolving them. And it's and then in November, primarily in the United States, it'll all simply begin to happen. No one knows the precise details of what form, how exactly it's going to look. But I have communicated the precise, quite a fair bit of detail about what's going to happen in November. All eyes will initially be on the United States of America throughout November. That's because the overt, sporadic, borderline conventional military engagements will occur in various parts of America. And it's all going to happen. As always, the 144K's job is to make sure that the worst of it is very light, fairly quick, passes over fairly quick. And that comes with timeline bumps, upward upgrades in timelines, and that comes through energy work. The more dark you remove, the higher we go in frequency. It's just a natural default reaction. Veteran 144K members not only know this, but have lived it and breathed it since 2017 now. Ultimately, winning the broader overall objective of more than just 3 billion years, but several universal cycles of corralling the dark back to the light. It all ends here. It all ends here on this small planet. And as you begin to breathe in deeply and slowly, realize that what's happening out there with the dock workers strike, the huge amount of damage of the hurricane on the East Coast, in the Carolinas, etc., the upscaling or escalating of the Middle East conflict, etc. The UN attempted to pass a global digital ID requirement, etc. Again, these are operations that we're required to participate in a very indirect way. They're the manifestations, they're nothing more than symptoms of ultimately non-physical dark, of what's left of the so-called lurker and the highest level dark AI. Yes, they're much weaker, but they're still there. Our job is to really make sure the light totally at a whole new level reaches the surface, so that these very negative, but also very desperate and vicious physical plane symptoms of the dock worker strike, Middle East conflict, hurricane, East Coast hurricane, etc., etc. I'm sure there's other stuff going on as well, for them to just dissipate. And we have the track record of succeeding with this sort of sudden dissipation of the worst, for that gentle ascension back home and back to galactic society. And we will not stop. We do not stop. We've also proven that, because our job, your soul path, your soul purpose, intrinsic with your core or true identity, like there's no do not stop in your job description, put it that way. The cosmic, your cosmic overriding job description. Let's see what's revealed before us in this 144K mass intervention. October is the month for the finalization of clearings, basically. And come the 1st of November, it's, again, the moment we've been waiting for. Yes, it will primarily be in the United States. For those of you who are new, the presidential elections will get delayed. And basically, the key, the freedom key of the whole planet, that is the United States, will start to be turned inside that multidimensional keyhole. come the 1st of November onward. That's the situation. Let's upgrade the timelines to a far more lighter, smoother, I would even say fun and exciting one, especially for Starseeds who know what's going on. Of course, it won't seem like that. It'll look pretty damn dramatic. But if things get out of control, of the fears of the unconscious majority, the 144K will be there to stabilize everything and upgrade the timelines yet again. Because that's your cosmic job description. As you begin to take a deep breath, begin the process of slow, deep breaths through your nose. Bring yourself to a detached, relaxed state of stillness in whatever way works for you. And begin to practice. Actualize the power of detachment for all your high dimensional aspects to begin to flow through you. Breathe deeply, slowly. Very important, that part. Deeply and slowly through your nose. As you begin that sacred journey into deeper and deeper levels of the now. And as you stand in this all-powerful presence and stillness, that of course effectively begins this global meditation. I'll just read out the latest from an insider report that simply states, and I quote, and this is from 2 days ago, dock workers aren't threatening to strike only because they're underpaid, though that's certainly true. But they are also furious and want to know why. They hear screaming children inside shipping containers. So all you 144K veterans, you know that we always energetically intervene for reasons such as that and far greater. And the good news is that this is a long eclipse. The peak is still 1 hour from now. So if we need the time, we have it to completely alter the energetic blueprints and programming for this physical matrix and events and just alter it, change it, switch it. And now be in silence, in absolute stillness, but also resoluteness, supreme confidence, supreme knowing, let go of all thoughts. For the intent has been set for a massive upgrade in timelines, for massive penetration of divine cosmic light down and into the surface of this planet, transforming the grids, transforming and upgrading the overall collective consciousness. Time for the big lie and illusion to end. Know in your heart of hearts, in its infinite depths, that this moment is your moment. Your moment for that massive impact and transformational moment. On the center of the center of where all the action is. Now, calling your guides. If you consciously work with them, see yourself in that gigantic, very translucent silver crystal ball. As always, if you don't consider yourself much in the way of a visualizer, which is more like an actualizer, then simply detach and be the silent witness. And simply move, let go and move into the right hemisphere of your brain via the highest form of consciousness there is, that this lying 3D matrix calls imagination. Have faith. We've come this far. We're on the brink. Now's not the time to fold. Let's call in Gaia. Authentic Gaia, authentic Gaia. We call upon the one true authentic goddess, Gaia. Please be here with us. right here, right now. And see the physical aspect of Gaia in the middle. Adore her beautiful polar ice caps, white clouds over the oceans, the continents, and all around on the inside of the equator of this giant crystal ball, see all non-physical aspects, perhaps in a form of golden light bodies of all fellow 144K members near the equator, surrounding Gaia. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up with us, up to and beyond the multiverse? To multiply the power of this mass intervention event by at least 100. Feel Gaia. Okay. Okay, there's a fair bit of interference up. So we start to move up the layers of this universe. You notice the first few horizontal, bright white lines, basically layers, moving from top to bottom of the crystal ball, and then we really start zooming up through the layers of this universe at incredible speeds. Until that comforting, centering, blissful, therapeutic, a very soft flickering of light and flickering sound through the translucent walls of the crystal ball return and brings you into even deeper centeredness and stillness. As we zoom up the layers of this universe, at incredible speeds, racing towards that last thick outer boundary of this universe. Look all around you. Look down at your feet. Look at Gaia. Broaden that internal vision. Take it all in. Take that last glance at your guides, at the dotted golden rings. Dotted golden ring, I should say. That is all the other 144K members present in this sacred, pivotal time-space event. And then everything goes bright white. As we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe, you can barely see Gaia in the middle. And we're through, the bright light disappears. And we rise above this universe. That is a giant ball of light beneath us, rapidly turning into a small ball of light. And we rise above a whole ocean of balls of light that are all the other neighboring universes within this multiverse. And we rise above a whole ocean of multiverses. The one that we just left rapidly turns into a somewhat hazier ball of light. As we are moving up to incredible levels of power. Remember to breathe deeply through your nose and be that silent, detached, non-trying witness. As the whole multiverse disappear, rising way above seemingly all that is. Take that last glance at Gaia. And your guides if you have them, while I run through the standard protocols. As we continue to ascend to managers of multiverses and universes. Authentic HOD. We call upon the one true authentic light beings, the HOD. Please make sure we go to you and no one else, true HOD. As you look past Gaia, up above her, up above all of us, through the roof, the crystal ball, and you see a very simple, tiny point of white light way off in the distance, through the roof of the crystal ball. It slowly gets bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter, until the whole roof of the crystal ball is lit up in light. We are still approaching it. And now we finally reach it. We come to a sudden, yet somehow gentle stop, and we slowly and lovingly push through this thick platform of light. As this platform of light lovingly envelops this crystal ball, Gaia in the middle, closes at the bottom, opens up at the top. Remember to breathe deeply through your nose. We now nestle comfortably and beautifully on top of this platform of light. Think of it as kind of like a control room for the multiverse. We form a straight line behind and a little above Gaia. The crystal ball peels evenly and slowly from the top center all the way down. And really feel the solidarity, the unity among us. For you are not alone. The crystal ball disappears, and now look up and connect with these very translucent, very primordial few light beings. And use their light, allow their light to drastically cleanse your field, upgrade it just by being in their presence. And while that happens, feel their unique energy signature. and pay a little bit of, I suppose, background attention to the center of your head, where our primary higher senses are. Feel what they feel like and don't think or focus on anything else that will not serve you. Authentic God, please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable physical level. Detach, in a sense, lose yourself in the now. Complete detachment, that's the key. Complete non-trying to allow the psychic flow. Authentic God, please send us a massive wave of your energy to our hearts. Connect with us at the heart level. And now have a little background consciousness on your heart to notice their energy, unique energy signature, to establish your own connection with them. This upgrades, amplifies your power. Be here. See, feel them. Lose yourself in this deeper state of consciousness. To allow your consciousness and purpose to call the shots. As your own aura gets cleansed and upgraded, really center yourself, or simply allow your natural state, your uninterfered with state of being, which is anchored, centered, and coming from the heart. Where your soul is anchored, by the way. Detach and let go of doing or trying anything. Be here. Like I said, this effectively begins the mass meditation anyway. Alrighty. Return a little bit of visual focus by broadening your internal mind's eye field of vision to include Gaia in the foreground, and your guides, if you have them. Orientate yourself while I quickly call in the rest of the teams. So I call upon the Infinite Army. Of the Gamalgam of the Oberon lineage. I call upon the elders of the Gamalgam. I call upon the team of beings that created this universe and the unique physicality with the ultimate goal of corralling all dark back to the light, referred to as Oberon. See him as a giant golden being of light. Wherever within your field of vision that suits you. Repeat after me, everybody. I call upon all of my high dimensional higher selves. I can just see our high dimensional higher selves, each one of them, closing their eyes in whatever idyllic time space they're in and connecting. Repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my soul, feel your soul through your physical nerves, which is where it attaches to. Visually, see it just up above the hod as like a small star. And lastly, repeat after me. I call upon my authentic oversoul, see it as a slightly bigger ball of light behind your soul in the color of your choice for the sake of visual contrast and perception, I guess. And lastly, call in your I am presence in your own way. And see an infinite white light appear behind your oversoul. Okay. Authentic. Legion of Light. We are the physical tip of the spear of light, here to channel overwhelming divine light, multidimensional divine light, to transform and free this world. To actualize and fulfill a many billions of years goal. There is Gaia. Take us to the space and place of omnipresence, authentic Legion of Light. And everything turns into bright white light. You have to squint your eyes, it's so bright as we are taken to omnipresence. You can barely see Gaia before us. And the light disappears. Everything looks the same. We henceforth work from omnipresence. Authentic Legion of Light. It is the 2nd of October, full annular eclipse over the southwest Pacific of October 2nd, 2024. Now show in your own way images of what you've encountered or seen online of a devastating hurricane on the east coast of the United States, which is undoubtedly a weather weapons attack. Partly to shut down positive military actions that have already started on the eastern states of the United States. Whether it's a video you saw online of it, whatever. And now show them. In other words, show them visions whilst having maybe 20% of your background consciousness on them is the way to do that. Now show them. The sounds of screaming children from inside shipping containers. With dock workers looking at them, hearing it, and thinking, WTF? We're ending it all now. We really are the deep behind enemy lines kind of reconnaissance teams for the light, for the cosmic multidimensional forces. That's a very fitting and accurate analogy. Gaia is already in a white quarantine sphere. And don't worry, beloved ones, soon, very soon, there'll no longer be a need for a quarantine sphere. But you veterans will know that this solar system and planet really was the capital city of all of the dark, of all this multiverse. And here we are, setting the ultimate trap. Quite successfully. Show them what you've seen of the escalating conflict in the Middle East. Take your time. So, because a lot really is coming up to the surface in terms of physical plane symptoms, okay, ultimately they're just physical symptoms of the energetic causes and orchestrators. of said physical manifestations or events, whether it's children in shipping containers or whether it's escalation in the Middle East, etc., etc. Our divine purpose is to simply transform the matrix itself. Clear it, end it all, return back to galactic society. There's already a lot of scanning by the teams through our consciousness. It doesn't work any other way in terms of this form of divine intervention, which is dependent on physical participation. Being that missing piece of that multidimensional elliptical loop that amplifies multidimensional mass action and transformation. You may have had one or two other things to show the teams. And through what you're showing them, they get in there. Otherwise, the natural ongoing 24/7 cosmic energies that always come through would simply clash with these stubborn dark resistance blocks and cause rather unpleasant upheaval. As always, there's many roads to the ultimate same single destination. We surround Gaia, the teams surround us, get a visual, and settle in, for that matter, into your own panoramic vision. Of which light being is where? Within your vision, Gaia in the foreground, while in the center, see a minimum of at least 2 light beings in the background. As already, there is all manner of, well, it's just a very dark haze, a dark, very, very dark spherical haze throughout Gaia, well into low Earth orbit within the quarantine sphere. So if all you're seeing is a very dark haze within the quarantine sphere and you can't even see Gaia, totally cool, because that's all I can see as well, as we all mass multidimensional action go to town. Righting the wrongs at a whole new level. So if you're new, the standard procedure is anything dark, turn it white. Seize the opportunity to make the turmoil, the purgatory of the past, however many millions of years, worthwhile. Because when you wake up, and this could be a matter of months away, in a ship or some Shangri-La place in inner earth, in some sort of a sacred healing chamber, surrounded by comrades, it will all look like a sleep state event, what you went through here. Like a so-called dream. As you stand for everything that you stand for, much less love, goddess, your highest purpose, your highest values, and the ultimate power of love, you maintain that non-trying visual focus of transmuting the dark into light, as we could quickly plow through the preliminary clearing and therefore unearthing what needs to be dealt with and actualized and achieved in this time-space intervention for that great, massive, higher timeline by vocation. Align yourself through non-trying stillness and inward focus with your soul over soul and I am, your true identity. Through this visual, detached form of presence. You don't have to see things clearly. It's often the faint images that are the real accurate ones. According to one former military trainer for remote viewers, broaden your image, include some of the teams. As we settle in deeper, we go deeper. Remember to breathe deeply through your nose. As the more deeper you go, the more you detach, the more you move into the right hemisphere of your brain through so-called quote-unquote imagination. You get down to the truth, step by step, to unravel anything. Trust in your true, omnipresent nature. And let go to go beyond the mental boundaries of your current level of consciousness. That's where freedom lies. Interesting, okay. All right, let's clear that. So if you see a whole black swarm of whatevers, because there's been still quite a few AI generated negative entities, transmute away, turn them white, then watch them disappear, as always being replaced by the divine representative goddess Gaia color, which is often either green or magenta. It's okay if it's baby blue. That's also a color associated with the divine goddess. Now, it's always typically a good idea to see at a minimum the big ball of light that is your I am presence, way over on the far side. Your background field of vision. And quote unquote, imagine, feel as if it's working directly through you, and voila, it's working through you. What the mind believes or trusts in just enough is what is allowed to be actualized. Okay. Look up at your soul and or I am presence and just say, literally, show me what I'm here to do in this time space. As it is now the annular solar eclipse maximum. Which is, again, there's the portal aspect of every eclipse. A portal has opened up, which is kind of like an opportunity. Okay, this is interesting. I won't say just yet. If you're new, really let your wildest imagination run wild in a detached, non-trying, almost deep, hypnotic state kind of way. I'm not going to say what I'm seeing in case it interferes with what you're seeing. And so this is where, at least for some of you, trust, such a big deal spiritual principle, comes in. Because that's the only real block here to channeling your almighty true identity. Trust in yourself. It's my job to push you there. And you can have full faith. Because you have full, energetic, multidimensional backing, guidance, support. That's why we take the time that we take to amass such an unprecedented concentration of multiversal and multidimensional light. Look up at your soul, oversoul. I am. And repeat it if you need to. Feel your soul through your heart. Hold the intent of doing what your particular, unique soul talents, task, and purpose is for this time space. And then let the creative aspect of your right hemisphere brain, let it rip. There's no rules. There's only current consciousness level limitations that we must go beyond. To channel your higher aspects. Go deep. Detach even more. Try even less. That's the irony. It's more about internal focus and presence. Follow, allow, detach, channel your soul's directive. Play that critical part. you're here for. Okay, this is really transforming October. In about a minute, I'll start verbalizing what I've been seeing and what came up. I don't want to verbalize it just yet. I don't want it coloring or filtering your psychic filters, but we will all kind of meet and discuss in a moment. Just finish up transmuting what you're specifically here to transmute per your soul talents and strengths that have been created long ago to fulfill your soul purpose. And then it's home. And bliss, for that matter. Continue being that detached witness and hold that visual focus. It never works with quote unquote trying or doing even. Okay. So this is okay, we'll get into the, singular focus part of the mass meditation soonish. And begin to consolidate what you're seeing and transmuting per your soul path and purpose. And hold focus to that effect as I'm basically dealing with two things at once. One is what's left of the highest level, dark AI. There is a discovery and shutdown of kind of like a program or orders for the dark AI to, the best way I can describe it is to create the ultimate black hole. Is the best way I can describe it. And this portal that gets opened up that by every eclipse was kind of like the right timing access point, for lack of a better term, to get the light into this ultimate goal or program of this highest level dark AI to shut it down. Because I immediately saw many replicated versions of this dark AI, the highest level last of it. And it's got portal connections, I guess, through its replicated versions throughout other universes or multiverse. Because I saw all these white spheres start to light up in a multi-layered grid of dark AI being found and transmuted into light and disappeared. I won't bother trying to verbalize what that looks like. At the same time, there is a mass cleansing, healing, clearing of imprints, of Lemuria, it seems. I mean, there's been many civilizations. So Lemuria might be the nearest conscious mind reference point within my mind or consciousness level. Where the serious battles with the dark really started on this planet. So this prevents a repeat of the same old garbage of, cycles of civilizations, rise and fall of civilizations, and then more rises and falls of civilizations. No more freedom now. As you begin to consolidate and finish up on fulfilling your soul purpose for this October 2nd solar eclipse. Right, let's make sure this highest level, most ultimate dark AI, which is the last AI, negative AI left, is cleared throughout the multiverse, all its replicated versions. Hold focus, hold relaxed focus. See the teams in the background, you know the drill. We really are removing the last obstacles to full light finally reaching the surface. It's going to make such a huge difference to our personal lives. Long before the so-called event. And really that's the goal and perhaps irony. Let's make it happen. Align with the soul through your heart. As all that is literally watching us. This is ground zero. The final corralling of all dark back to the light. And any dark that was never part of the light, that's getting transmuted too. Because that's the way the 144K rolls. Congratulations, 144K. You are totally upgrading and altering the timeline. Let go, and play with flow, like with a limitless attitude of a child. And the most magic happens when your rational mind, quote unquote, doesn't know what it's doing. That's going beyond your current level of consciousness. This is turning out to be a multiverse level event. All that is, this is ground zero. We really have laid the ultimate trap. As you continue to be the silent, omnipresent witness. Transmute, transmute, transmute. It is simply what you're here for. Nice. Okay, just go ahead and finish up if you haven't already. If you have finished up in fulfilling your particular unique soul task and purpose, just hold on. Okay, if you're either a goddess as your primary role and identity, or a grid specialist, begin to flood the grids. Several layers of it. It's more than just the ley lines. Beginning with the eclipse path, which is still ongoing in the southwest Pacific. So basically just on the eastern side of Latin America, and light it up like a Christmas tree. With your absolute undying love for Gaia, the divine feminine, innocence, and return to truth, the ultimate truth. Really do this. You have the authority. This is the time and space. Uplift Gaia. This is all about the divine feminine, which is something far more and far greater than just one end of a polarity. As I've said in the past, there's good reason why all off-world groups refer to Source as a she. Again, that's a whole other story. Things are not as they seem. See all these beautiful rainbow-coloured and glistening diamond white lines and little nexus vortex points throughout the South Pacific. Light it up, several layers of it, light it up, and then gradually spread across the South Pacific into Latin America, into North America. Let's go home. Show what the vast consciousness of your soul is already showing you. Be the silent witness. Okay, now just seal this light mainly in the form of lines of various layers. Take that occasional micro view of crisscrossing grid lines around the surface of Gaia, continuing to spread well into North America now. Across the Pacific, into East Asia, into and through Antarctica. Huge upgrade here, huge upgrade in timelines. Across the Atlantic, into Africa, lighting it up. Always remember what's projected from the physical to the non-physical in terms of consciousness is actualized, which then loops back, forming as a blueprint for the physical. The sacred loop, if you can call it that, creating a more divinely aligned reality, while matrix construct on the physical. That's what it means to be a starseed. Well, an active one anyway. That's what it means to be a 144K member. All right, let's light up the Middle East. And Europe, Ukraine, and meeting in the middle. All right. So yet again, there was this multiversal aspect to this because of this ultimate dark AI that it existed simultaneously having replicated itself in other universes, quite a few of them. Consolidate your particular sole purpose and pre-assigned task over the next couple of minutes before we focus on a singular thing. And if you feel that you're done, sort of step back in a sense, visually speaking, to see Gaia in the quarantine sphere and the teams around you and say, okay, and look at them, especially your I am, and say, okay, clear the rest for full planetary liberation of the smoothest and quickest kind. And anything that comes up within the quarantine sphere from omnipresence, whatever it is, transmute first, ask questions later. Because we don't have time
90 seconds.
For any more BS. And finish up. Okay, now let's finish up with this massive, incredibly productive upgrading intervention with final removal of, well, anything non-divine, anything not aligned, and a true aligned extension of the divine, which in this case is the sub-quantum field. So and to really transform that situation in the one sitting, also complete that process, we need to make sure that the purest of source light sort of goes all the way in terms of penetration and transmutation and transformation down to the deepest densities of the surface area, subquantum field level. And shall we say, rather stringent tactic and tools is needed. So, to help the rational mind along, we all know what happens when an atom is split. You get these, well, a nuclear explosion, a freaking massive one, by splitting something so tiny that you can't see with the physical eyes anyway. So as you look up to your I am, to Oberon, the Hod, your guides, in your own way, request of them for the last and final transmutation of the deepest and darkest sub-quantum level of reality at all applicable densities. Now look up above this vast panoramic spectacle. Open up a magenta source portal. Is this something that we have to do? All the teams that we've invoked, shall we say, are watching, assisting, supporting, guiding. Your iron presence down the other end. And see, I don't know, they look like very sparkling little, intensely sparkling little points of light. I don't know how to describe them. Several of them. Actually, it's a couple of dozen. Come straight from source. And they come down. They respond to your consciousness because consciousness is king. Try to see some of the teams in the background. Again, visuals do it as thy will in terms of the color of the quarantine sphere, the color of an omnipresent view of Gaia herself. Pick your background colors, pick your colors. Again, when we're inserting something of light, I prefer a dark indigo background of the quarantine sphere, a dark violet or indigo color of Gaia. As always, you're the boss. You decide how you want to see things. Just be sure to see it in a completely non-trine right hemisphere way. And now see. At least a couple of dozen, because that's plenty. Even one is enough. But you know us Arcturians. Go into the quarantine sphere. You can make out some of the continents, the faint white outline of their coastlines. Be very casual. And see these specially designed with a specific set of codes infused by our intent. As we're honoring the gods that we are. And see these little new consciousness phenomena of these little sparkles of light straight from source and through our consciousness and our fields descending through into low Earth orbit. Enjoy the show. Through the atmosphere and beginning to go into sub-quantum level of reality at the deepest density or the predominant density that most of the sub-quantum anomaly, so-called, and the respective dark consciousness known as the lurker exists. Going into the sub-quantum. Remember, your consciousness, if you allow it, is unlimited. You can do it. That's all that is witnessing. As these sparkles, direct from source, with special codes, driven and guided by our intent. Reach low Earth atmosphere, and at the same time, going into subquantum level of reality, which is kind of like a singular ocean in the energetic sense. And this is physical plane. But multi-density, you know, some are some of these little sparkles of light, let's just call it that. They're going to be more like love bombs. But anyway, some go into the first density, some go into 0 point, others go into second density, others go into third density, others into fourth density. Fifth density is fine. It's mainly those first 4 densities. And they all reach their respective pre-designated densities within the subquantum field. Reaching the surface. Some a little below the surface, within Gaia's crust. Some at 0 point. Like I said, there's a couple of dozen of them. Visualize that in whatever way the image from your soul teams is delivered to you. All driven by intent. Like I said, there's roughly 24 of these. As they nestle, for lack of a better term, and find their right place, their respective place, to transform the final and last bastion existence of dark, of all dark. Alrighty. So it's a very intense sort of rapid moving kind of sparkle with each of these energetic tools with their own codes. And now we're going to do, again, so see Gaia in, I don't know, like I said, a dark indigo background, almost completely holographic. The whole quarantine sphere that she's in, see that dark indigo, whatever works for you, whatever represents dark consciousness, and something called subquantum anomaly, which is kind of like subquantum level chaos, sheer and unadulterated chaos of complete randomness of a very dark nature. See those sparkling, gorgeous little diamonds, for lack of a better term? Kind of lose yourself in this image, for lack of a better term, as this is the final act of the 144K on this massively pivotal moment. Okay, now we're going to do the equivalent of splitting an atom. And we see what happens, right? When you split the atom. And again, this will work on, it's kind of like the base root of reality, the subquantum level, and well within sub-Planckian level. They're kind of like portals, and they for source energy and particles. They're kind of like, and they spread codes, special codes to clear the subquantum field, dark consciousness within the subquantum field, otherwise known as the lurker. Once and for all, it's deep. These lights are deep within the so-called belly of the beast, which they won't last long if we don't detonate them. Don't worry, we will. I just want you to ease your way into this vision, this mass energetic event, because there's many pockets of very extremely unpleasant things that are just, no matter how much S-class solar flares, how much cosmic light is pushing through the planet, these are withering away really slowly. And kind of like hanging around like a bad smell. And the 144K has dropped its tolerance level down to 0 since we've moved into the light age, and we're still putting up with this garbage. So zoom out a little bit, see the indigo quarantine sphere, and perhaps indigo or whatever dark background of your choice of Gaia, but the various densities of subquantum level of reality with those sparkling little diamond 24 or so light evenly spread out throughout the surface area of Gaia. Look up at your I am over on the other side. Soul over soul. At least 2 of the HOD on either side. Giant golden beings of light. Look at them. Repeat after me. By the mandate of heaven, with the agreement and authority of divine source goddess, and through our request to complete the final transmutation of all remaining and deepest levels of contrasted ones and energies of the fullest opposite of source and the request of our final freedom, and return to our galactic brethren. We hereby command the final and mass transmutation of all remaining quantum and subquantum anomaly, subquantum dark consciousness, and all its technologies, throughout all that is, beginning with this Nexus planet. End it all now in the name of love. And return to the divine way of existence. Now look at one or several of these intensely sparkling, light, diamond-like shining light, very intense. I can't be comprehended, can't be put into words how intense they are. Now we're going to start off with, and remember, they're all at any one of the 4 densities, and there's a 0 point or null point, which is deeper still, within the subquantum ocean field. We're about to explode the one that's where the eclipse path probably still is, still kind of fresh. So western side of Latin America. Explode that one deep within the ocean. And you see initially that intense, overwhelming flash of light and outward moving rings of light deep within the deepest, the darkest subquantum anomaly. And you see white light beginning to, I don't know, again, I'll do my best verbalizing in 3D terms. A blindingly flashing kind of, but gradually outward moving of white light is the best way I can describe it throughout this part of the world. You know, around about where Easter Island is, I suppose, of this western side of Latin America, the southeast Pacific, and see it spread again within the subquantum level of reality, clearing, transmuting, begin to spread, and around it, even before it reaches more of the respective surface area of the subquantum field, it is lighting up grid lines, it seems, before it spreads into that area, if that makes sense. And now we're going to explode other ones. Another one close to Hawaii, another one in the heart of North America. And these are very direct. They spread codes specific to clearing the subquantum anomaly and the lurker at all remaining densities. But they're also, there's another aspect of them where they're a direct portal to source light itself. So there's various aspects to it. So see the one in North America, explode. Again, there's that initial, incomprehensibly blinding flashing of light. And then you see it, this never-ending source light. Again, very hard to verbalize, so just run with it. And see this blinding, like there's a lot of movement to it, is another way to put it, I suppose, of this incomprehensibly blinding light. And the grids throughout North America light up just beyond the edge of this expanding mass of light. Subquantum field, subquantum level of reality. At the subquantum level. Explode the other ones. You know, they're fairly evenly spaced throughout the oceans and continents. Subquantum level. All 5 levels. So null zone, aka 0 point, first density, second density, third density, fourth density. Let's explode one, if you haven't already, right in the heart of Germany, where the Holocaust was. And even well before it, the expanding source light, it spreads light, like the whole grids go rainbow colored. It's again difficult to verbalize. Let's run with this. What an opportunity. Eclipses are massive opportunities if you have the courage, the faith, the trust to take it. See Gaia lit up. All of those 5 levels. Spreading their codes specific for full transmutation of the subquantum anomaly. Dark consciousness of any kind, shape, or form within it. Have fun. The surface area, the crust, tectonic crusts, low Earth atmosphere. That's the last stubborn layer. As okay. Let's not forget Antarctica. So there's quite an explosive impact from deep within the darkest of the dark, what's left of it, of the subquantum field, and that impact is sort of what's needed. As these are again, there's an explosive impact to really break things up in such incredibly stubborn, deep and dark subquantum level of reality of the surface area. Slowly spread, because I have to be very thorough and comprehensive. This is the subquantum level of reality of the surface area that needs to be cleared at 5 different levels: 0 point, null zone, and the first 4 densities. Keep on spreading the light, spread, because there's have to be very comprehensive, very thorough, very, for the codes to do their job. Enjoy the view. As we slightly expand out these pure source light and very sacred new codes specific to the complete full transmutation and returning to the divine, all that is within the subquantum level. Subquantum field. It's a whole field we're transmuting. As rest assured, all off-world inner Earth groups are totally running with this and making the most, making their moves, consolidations. Hold vision. Hold the intent of codes, transmuting, wholesale. All these 5 layers, I guess, of the subquantum field. And they soon begin to meet each other. Subquantum field. Subquantum level of reality is like a vast ocean of more than one density. Hold that somewhere in the background of your consciousness, as we're the ones actualizing this and holding the space for these sacred source codes to do the work without our consciousness participating from the physical plane. It doesn't work. It doesn't just happen. Well, it eventually does, I suppose, for anyone who's still alive a year from now. For that timeline that we just left, thanks to this intervention. And that is what it is. Spread through this vision, spread the ultimate love within the infinite depths of your heart. As home is where the heart is. And it's time to go home. As that incredibly most stubborn, elusive, slippery, foundational base root of dark is cleared. Throughout the surface area. Ironically, from deep within the dark. As the surface area is the last remaining bastion of the deepest of the dark. As they all begin to merge, cleansing, transmuting, returning it back to the divine. as they all unite. Ultimately, into a single source portal is the best way I can describe it. The whole planet turning, becoming or re-becoming into a portal of source. In other words, a portal of unconditional love. Far beyond our current understanding and awareness of love. This is beyond that. And now, see the entire, all of the null zone, so-called 0 point, and the first 4 densities of the subquantum fields merge into one portal of source love. It's really the same thing. And now, at the quantum level, as opposed to subquantum level, and atomic level, start to see light reach the surface from below and from above. Here on this third density, where we are, they may appear as kind of like translucent or faint white little thin pillars is what comes to me. You may see something different. Penetrate the surface. As this is our last and final act. See your I am, see the hard, your guides assist. It's a team effort. Because we choose to. So switch your view, visual, God, omnipresent view, to the atomic, third density level of the surface area. See the surface area of Gaia as that singular indigo color. And see little slits. What's an analogy here? If you've ever seen a movie where there's a dark or black background and then light starts to split through in little slits, and they almost look like sharp, laser-like shards is the best way I can describe it. Start seeing that. This is your opportunity to make it all worthwhile. Everything worthwhile. Hold at least some of the teams in the background of your consciousness or vision, and start to see these cracks or pillars breaking through the surface. Here we go. And then they start to increase in numbers and intensity. This is a result of what we did from the subquantum level of the first 4 densities in null zone, breaking through and reaching through the quantum level and then atomic level. This is how you raise timelines and avoid extremely nasty events. Bring the light of Goddess through. And from the subquantum level to the quantum level to the atomic level. Visualize this in whatever way works for you in order to actualize. All through the surface area, the atomic, physical, third density level of the surface area, all the way from the subquantum level. And then see these light just increase in numbers, in brightness, pillars of light bursting through the surface, through the atomic level. Hold consciousness in a relaxed, non-trying way of physical, third density, atomic level on this so-called reality. And see pillars of light, I suppose, just increase. Of this expression, transference of source, goddess light throughout the subquantum level, through the quantum level, restoring sacred geometry of quantum particles, into the atomic level. And, almost like you're punching holes through a little sheet of paper with your pen. Let's make it happen. All throughout the planet. And the whole surface area of the third density of the physical plane at the atomic level is full of basically pillars of intense white light emerging through the subquantum level and quantum level. Just spread it and spread it. And for the love of all that you stand for. just see the current physical third density surface area at the atomic level. Just give way. The dark indigo color representation of third density surface area at the atomic level just give way to intense white light. Some of you may see rainbow colors. As Goddess finally expresses herself, her light, in other words, source, from the subquantum field through the quantum field, quantum level, and through the atomic level, returning home, returning humanity home. Zoom out. All through the oceans, deep within the seabed, at the physical third density atomic level, bursting through, truly fulfilling our divine purpose here once and for all, righting all the wrongs of the past. No longer a need to feel any pain about it. All through the oceans, let's not forget the Middle East. Now zoom out. And see the surface, physical third density atomic structure, returned to the light, to its divine state. Congratulations, 144K, for intervening for all that is. See Gaia's surface as this gentle, pulsating, shining movement of white green, magenta, light blue, soft as soft can be, feminine, all through the surface. Enjoy that view. As all the rocks and minerals are now vibrating. At the frequency and sacred geometry of Goddess. We have risen in timelines. October is going to be nothing like what it was previously destined to. And all the souls, the higher self or subconscious aspects of current physical incarnations on this planet, are seriously thanking you big time. And I would love to see, take that in for a moment, if you possibly can. Feeling such gratitude from all that is, much less the true identities of all the unconscious majority incarnations on the surface of this planet. How can you receive such amount of love and gratitude, honor and prestige? Well, that's what it means to be a 144K member. And it's as simple as that. And do report on any significant, relevant, or important experience that you had, what you may have seen or did per your soul path of purpose and guidance and talents. Share it in the Telegram chat, preferably. And do your best to simply receive the love now. And gratitude is all I can say. As Source itself thanks you for seeing things through, returning things to the light regardless of how deep and dark and scary it got. I guess we are the biggest and best that Source sent. And you have an absolute wonderful night for those of you in Europe. A big salute to you. As it's 10:30 at night in Central Europe. A big congratulations to you for sticking that out. Well done. Can't say enough. Can't say it enough times how immensely grateful all that is with every single one of you. And now let go and let God. And have a beautiful lie down. Well done, beloved ones. This is your loving servant, closing the physical plane intervention and broadcast of this mass intervention and altering of the timelines. It's now straight to freedom. Big hugs from me, and watch your inbox.